The following is an EHC media production.
Hey guys, this is Mike Larkin, podcaster and now soon-to-be owner of TalkingWrestling.com. That's right, it's TalkingWrestling.com. Check it out on Facebook, TalkingWrestling.com. Website is under construction. It's going to be soon out there. And the premise behind TalkingWrestling.com is I'm a guy who loves professional wrestling, and this is a site for all professional wrestling fans, and I've been blessed to work with a lot of great people. Max Wrestling Podcast, RWT, Impact Bodega, The Heelcast, the whole nine. So you're going to see a lot of content shared on the Facebook page, TalkingWrestling.com. My interviews with the likes of Amber Nova, Jimmy Rave, Casey Lennox, Brian Pillman Jr., etc., etc. You got Max Wrestling Podcast going to be shared there, RWT, Heelcast, Impact Bodega, etc., etc. The goal is to accentuate these podcasts. It's a website coming soon for all wrestling fans. But first and foremost, check out Facebook.com, TalkingWrestling.com. You won't be disappointed. More details coming soon. It's an exciting time for professional wrestling, and it's going to be an exciting site and overall experience for all individuals involved, and just to share a lot of great content for a lot of great wrestling fans. Check it out, Facebook.com/TalkingWrestling.com. Website coming soon. Thank you all very much.
EWA.
Do you play WWE 2K18 on the PS4? Would you like to play against other like-minded players in a very unique online league that's unique because we are more committed to storylines than just a straight-up competitive league? The league is still very competitive, but we also try to run things like a bit of a TV show. Check out the YouTube channel and the Facebook page in the description below if you're interested.
The Max Wrestling Promo Championship returns this November at Promo Series 3.
The warning was given. Make sure your windows are locked and your doors are shut. The butcher can get in. He will get in. You, my friend, have been chosen. You should have kept everyone safe.
All paths lead to this point. Throughout this year I've beaten heroes, yes men, legends, and there's only one left, and that's you. You're not looking to beat Lesnar, you're looking for someone to end you. I'll do what Lesnar should have done 2 years ago, and that is put a shotgun to the back of Old Yellow's head and pull the trigger.
For years I have watched legends come and go, and now it is time to make my mark. The nuclear war is coming, and trust me, you're gonna get front row seats. And bring your gas mask, because it's gonna be toxic.
The time has come. The path of the butcher is over.
And then came the storm that threatened to ruin everything. The Butcher versus Tony Kirkendall.
Trust me. I know my shit. I analyze, I watch, and I predict. And at the end of it, do you know what I'm gonna say? I told you so.
No need for an introduction. You know who I am.
Seems to be there's someone who is dying for my attention.
It's an amazing rivalry that was producing a lot of super awesome promos, and I was like, oh, this is so exciting. And then those guys tried to kill each other. Love you both, by the way. And then one day later, they somehow become like a tag team and start taking on all these other guys.
The butcher is gonna slay and maim, put you on my wall, wrap this bitch up, go home, pod, promo, champion.
And the Promo Climax tournament will begin in 2 weeks to determine the new champion. So if you think you can pick up the mic and cut like a machete, get in touch with us, or indeed with Amir on RWT. You know where to find us at Max Wrestling UK.
What's going on, RWT family? This is Mike Larkin, the host of The Future Is Now, and this is episode 7. Man, the future is now with all these great talents that we saw this week on NXT. We have a future title match coming for SummerSlam with Cedric Alexander and Drew Gulak for the Cruiserweight Championship. It's going to be an amazing card. And let's start it off with some 205 Live. Alrighty, let's get into the 205 Live. Guys, we start off with Kalisto and Lince Dorado versus Tony Nese and Buddy Murphy in tag team action. This progresses the feud with the Lucha House Party and Tony Nese and Buddy Murphy. I thought it was good. It was really good for what it was. We saw a lot of double teams from both men. All four looked great. The finish came where Kalisto and Dorado send Nese and Murphy back into the ring. Murphy sends Dorado to the floor, and Murphy goes over the top rope when Kalisto drops down. Kalisto with a kick, and Murphy trips Kalisto and Nese with the roll-up, the distraction. 1, 2, 3. Nese has got the tights. He pins Kalisto, and Tony Nese and Buddy Murphy are your winners, and this will have a continuation in the feud for weeks to come and just to see, overall. Personally, I'm digging it. I like Tony Nese, I like Buddy Murphy, and I like the Lucha House Party. So more of this for me is a positive. So then we go to the back and we see Mustafa Ali. He's getting ready for his match with Hideo Itami in the main event. Drake Maverick checks on him, make sure he's doing all right. He says that he heard Mustafa was overdoing it. He was in the hospital. He said that last week was a speed bump and that he has told him to slow it down. Mustafa says he was not going to miss out on the chance at Hideo Itami. Then Drake tells him that he doesn't have to prove anything to everyone. Mustafa tells him that he's okay, and then Drake doesn't need to worry about him. He needs to worry about Hideo Itami. Then Hideo Itami cuts a promo in Japanese on him, and then he says that Mustafa Ali should have respected him. And then we come back, we get a nice little video package on Noam Dar. He says he's invincible until that fatal 4-way when he injured his knee, which was 10 months ago. He realized how easily all of this could have been taken away. It was a reality check to step up and never take things for granted and take everything for advantage. He had to work harder while rehabbing the knee. Dar says he got rewired. During his last match, he let TJP get in his head. TJP tried to re-injure his knee, and that will not happen again. Dar says that he will show why he is an 11-star player and the Supernova. So we had the Scottish Supernova against Sean Maluda. We've seen Sean Maluda in the Cruiserweight Classic. We've seen him on NXT. He just wrestled Adam Cole, baby, about 2 weeks ago. This was fine for what it was. It told the story of what it needed to be. It was a showcase matchup where we saw, Sean Maluda working on the leg of Noam Dar, the one that he's hurt. But in the end, Noam Dar came back with some European uppercuts and a headbutt. And Dar hit him with the running elbow in the corner. Then he hit him with the running kick for the 1, 2, 3. It was fine, and TJP was watching in the back, not really too impressed, but that also continues the feud between Noam Dar and TJP, so it was fine for what it needed to be. Then we take a look back at the issues between Cedric and Drew Gulak. Cedric Alexander says he's not surprised Drew had Jack Gallagher on standby. He wants him one-on-one. Drew cannot beat him. Cedric will remind him that at SummerSlam, if Jack's willing, he will show him next week on 205 Live, which we are going to get that matchup. Next week, it's Cedric and 205 Live. Duh. Cedric and Jack Gallagher on 205 Live. Then we see a promo from Drew Gulak where he says that if you want a match against Jack Gallagher 5 days before their match at SummerSlam, the challenge is accepted. Does this division need a champion who is more flash than substance? We need a champion who embodies the value of wrestling. Drew says he does not need anyone to do his dirty work because when you step in the ring with him, you'll tap out. So that heats up. And then we also find out that we're going to get another matchup next week besides Cedric and Jack Gallagher. We're going to see a rematch between Akira Tozawa and Lio Rush. This brings us to our main event. It's Hideo Itami versus Mustafa Ali. Man, these two just work. The kicks, the dives, the drop kick into the ring post. I mean, these two went on all cylinders. That springboard at the end where he hit him with the tornado DDT, and just that was amazing. Both men just were incredible in this matchup. I would say go out of your way to watch it. My words can't do it justice, but this is something you have to see. Hideo and Tommy Mustafa Ali, an excellent match this week. The finish came where, he does the DDT like I mentioned on the floor, but as he goes up for the 054, he starts to get dizzy because, he's been overdoing it, and we got to sell that point. And then Hideo Itami has him in the tree of whoa, and then the 3 hesitation drop kicks for the 1, 2, 3. Hideo Itami is your winner. Then after the match, Mustafa Ali collapses in the ring, and the referee asks for help, and then Drake Maverick comes out. We got to get somebody, and they're asking, where are you? What's the year? Just Mustafa Ali was out, and we're going to find out what's going on with Mustafa Ali next week. We're going to see Lio Rush and Akira Tozawa in a rematch next week, and just 5 days before their clash at SummerSlam, Cedric Alexander and Jack Gallagher are going to have a match to preview what's going to come for Cedric and Drew Gulak at SummerSlam. So, all in all, was a solid edition of 205 Live. Now, let's get in talking about tonight's edition of NXT. Alright, let's talk about tonight's edition of NXT as I'm recording this. This is Wednesday. Let's start off with the opening matchup. It's Nikki Cross versus Amber Nova. And to promote myself very briefly, guys, check out my interview with Miss Amber Nova. We talked about GFW and her appearances on Impact against the likes of Su Yung, Hanaya, Allie, Rosemary, and a whole lot on that. And we talked about this match with Nikki Cross. So check that out, soundcloud.com/MCLarkin92. Amber Nova and Nikki Cross had a fine matchup. Amber worked over Nikki. Nikki did her traditional Nikki crazy spots. And really, it was good. It was fine for what it was. Just she has her in the submission hold. She has her in the strangle hold. She has them in the, the straight jacket submission. Amber Nova, Nikki fires back, hits her with a running forearm, and then she hits her with a Thez press with the punches, hits a cross body, and then she hits her with the twisting fisherman neckbreaker known as the Purge for the 1, 2, 3, and Nikki Cross is your winner. We then go to commercial, shows the video package for Keith Lee and the footage from the meeting between Velveteen Dream and EC3, which we'll get into. We're back, and the Undisputed Era stands over Ricochet after attacking him on the ramp after Ricochet was going to have a matchup. Adam Cole says he is not a coward and he does not hide behind anyone. You lay here battered and beaten while Adam Cole stands tall. The one and only NXT North American champion. After he mangles you in Brooklyn, that will be undisputed. We go to Vanessa Bourne in the back. She's asked about her match against Tainara Conti, both women who were in the inaugural Mae Young Classic for the final spot in the Mae Young Classic for this year, 2018. Vanessa says that the plan is to win. She does not want to deprive the world of the vision. The Mae Young Classic is about the most immaculate performers, and how can she not if she's not? How can it be that if she's not in the tournament? So Vanessa then says she'll take the final spot in the tournament. She tells everyone to leave while she warms up for the match. This brings us to Adrian Jaoud against Cassius Ohno. Adrian Jaoud, the MMA, the jiu-jitsu, mixed martial arts background. Cassius Ohno, he gets a nice backdropping kicks on him and a nice takedown on Cassius Ohno. But in the end, Cassius hits him with the elbow and the Dream Crusher for the 1, 2, 3. Cassius Ohno is your victor. I'm going to say this right now. If Cassius Ohno is looking for competition, the person I want to see him against is Keith Lee. And we'll talk about that because both men are big and they can move. So we then go between Velveteen Dream and EC3. Dream is already poolside and EC3 arrives. Dream asks EC3 to sit down, and Dream asks if EC3 wants to take a walk with and EC3 says he'd be charmed. EC3 thinks Dream was going to push him into the pool after they're walking, and Dream says he does not have to beat him like that because EC3 is the top 1%. Dream tells EC3 not to patronize him. EC3 says he's the bigger than both of them. This is bigger than life. EC3 says he wants to wait for TakeOver when it's the Purple Rainmaker against the Golden God. It's the one versus the top 1%. Dream says that Dream invites you to his facilities, and you disrespect him. You're the top 1%. You are the man. EC3 picks up his sunglasses after they fall, and Dream goes after him, but EC3 hits him with the formerly known as the TK3, the 1%er, into the pool, and then he just tells him it's 3 feet deep because Velveteen Dream acts like he's drowning. And then we get a highlight package showing that Velveteen Dream will be on NXT next week. Then we have Marcel Bartel against Keith Lee. Man, Keith Lee was amazing. We saw a lot of uppercuts from Marcel. We saw the absolutely amazing leapfrog into the drop kick by Keith Lee. Keith Lee with some chops. Martel coming back. Why do I keep saying Martel? Marcel coming back. Excuse me. You know what it is? He looks like Marcel Barthel, but it's Bartel. So, all right. So, Marcel Bartel, they go back and forth. Like I mentioned, the uppercuts. Keith Lee doing his thing with the chops. Misses the splash. He comes back, hits him with a gourd buster and a pounce, and then he puts him on his shoulders, and what I could basically describe it as is a Death Valley driver, like in a fireman's carry, then right into a jackhammer for the 1, 2, 3. And Keith Lee, if you've not seen him in Ring of Honor on the independent circuit, he's amazing. Keith Lee, bask in his glory, he gets the win over Marcel. We then see the latest episode of Street Talk with the Street Profits, and they talk about the Mighty, who they'll be facing next week on NXT, and they just said that they're going to get their revenge on the Mighty. After this match, number 4 is Tainara Conti versus Vanessa Bourne in a Mae Young Classic qualifying matchup. These girls work very hard. I gotta say, Bourne hit her with the Dragon Sleeper. Pretty much we saw body scissors. We saw Conti come back with judo flips and an elbow drop and a belly-to-belly suplex. But in the end, Vanessa Bourne slaps Conti, which makes her mad. Goes for a crucifix, but Conti counters it into like a twisting... it's kind of like an inverted twisting sidewalk slam for the 1, 2, 3. So Tainara Conti is the winner, and she will be in the Mae Young Classic. Then this brings us to find out that next week on NXT, we are going to see Kairi Sane versus Aaliyah. We're going to see the Street Profits versus the Mighty next week, and we are also going to see Tyler Bate go one-on-one with Roderick Strong. This brings us to our main event. Johnny Gargano and Aleister Black, they fought for a couple minutes, kicks, and they pretty much, were going on a tear against each other until Tommaso Ciampa comes in, attacks them both. Gargano hits a nice cannonball onto Ciampa in the end, and, Gargano and Aleister Black fight because Ciampa goes and escapes the whole ruckus. Then William Regal comes out and says that at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, it's going to be a triple threat. Now, this was all taped before Aleister Black's groin injury, and it's been announced that he will not be medically cleared to wrestle at TakeOver Brooklyn for the title. So right now, the whole situation is Gargano versus Ciampa for the NXT title. So let's see what progresses, but that was your NXT. It was very, very good, and I gotta say, 205 was solid, but NXT, as always, delivers, and if you guys are a little... I don't like you hear just now. It happens. You know what I'm saying? From time to time, my computer just gives me a little alerts. So I apologize if you hear that in the background. But again, both great shows this week. Very solid action and just a lot of storylines progress. Like with 205, the TJP and Noam Dar feud. The Hideo Itami Mustafa Ali situation with Mustafa Ali, being overworking himself. Leo Rush and Akira Tozawa are going to fight each other again next week. And we progress with the Lucha House Party now feuding with Tony Nese and Buddy Murphy. We progressed with Adam Cole and Ricochet and EC3 and the Velveteen Dream, which is very entertaining. We did a Mae Young Classic qualifier, which promotes the upcoming Mae Young Classic. We showcased Keith Lee, who, as I said, I want to see him fight Cassius Ohno, who we showcased him as well. And we showcased Nikki Cross doing her thing against Amber Nova. So again, thank you all very much for listening. I'll be back with episode 8 next week. The future is now, and everyone have a great night, and I'll talk to you next week.